Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share your beauty hot takes and chat about them in today's video. I've seen people film videos like this over the years, but I've never done one on my channel. So I asked you on YouTube as well as on Instagram for your hot takes, your unpopular, possibly controversial, just strong opinions on beauty, makeup, the beauty community in general, and you guys shared some really good ones. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments of today's video and which beauty hot take you feel similarly about and which ones you don't. And if you have a beauty hot take that we don't mention in today's video, feel free to share it below. I think that's what's so interesting. People's opinions differ so much when it comes to beauty and makeup trends and different things like that. So I'm excited to jump into it. There are some really juicy ones, some funny ones. So let's start with YouTube. This one from Maggie says, I wish more companies would embrace the refillable packaging model. It would cut down on waste and ideally reduce cost. Also, luxury brands need to step up their packaging. If I'm buying a $40 highlighter, the packaging better be stellar, no plastic whatsoever. Okay, let's start with the first part. I will agree with you on this one. I would love to see more brands embrace refillable packaging. I do think it is becoming more prevalent. I just got a bronzer from Beauty Pie a few months ago where you could actually just repurchase the pan and refill the compact after you use it up, which was really nice to see. I think they do have refillable lipstick. I know Fenty has refillable lipstick. There are a few other brands that have done it. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I think Hourglass has refillable lipstick. I know Fenty has refillable skincare, which is nice to see. And I know there are some hair care brands that do refillable packaging as well. So I do think it is becoming a little more prevalent. Actually, ColourPop just introduced refillable pans for some of their eyeshadow palettes. Not this one, I'm just wearing this one today, which is why I have it. I'm also wearing the Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palette. But I saw on Instagram that you could actually request a free eyeshadow pan to replace a most used color in one of your favorite palettes. I don't know all of the details. I'll link their website below if you want to check it out. But that was really nice to see from ColourPop, who's a brand that produces so much. So I think seeing brands embrace refillable packaging or just finding ways to be able to cut down on waste like ColourPop by sending out those single pans instead of having people repurchase an entire palette definitely makes a difference, and I hope it's something we see more of over the next year. This next comment says, makeup is getting less and less interesting because there are so many releases now. I think maybe makeup is getting a little bit less interesting or maybe a little less exciting to people because it feels like everything's been done at this point. I remember, I've been filming videos forever, it feels like, and back in the day when I was first getting into makeup, there weren't so many options and so many products. So it felt like when a brand came out with something new, it was automatically just a little bit different and interesting and unique. And these days, it feels like everything has already been done. On the other hand, I kind of feel like makeup is almost a little bit more exciting to me these days in a different way because I feel like as the trends change, I do like to try something different and kind of fall in love with a different application or technique or even formula. Like this past year, I fell in love with cream cheek products, which is not something that I ever enjoyed before. So for me, it was really exciting being able to try out cream products and find formulas that I love and enjoy and just kind of embrace some different makeup techniques and styles and trends that I hadn't tried before. So I guess I see it both ways and I feel both ways, but I can definitely see the stance that makeup is getting less interesting because there are so many launches. This hot take is one that I did get a little bit on Instagram as well. I just don't get the hype around Charlotte Tilbury. Her products all look the same and the reviews aren't always 100% positive, but people still get so excited every time she releases something. I do think this is a hot take, but I do think there are people who strongly agree with this at the same time. Sometimes when I say that on my channel, because this is something that I've agreed with for years, I'll get the most angry comments of people saying like, I don't know how to do makeup, Charlotte Tilbury is amazing, the products are 100% worth the hype, and obviously everyone is free to have whatever opinion they want on a brand, of course. But in my experience, I've tried Charlotte Tilbury products, and in the past I used to have more of them in my collection, but they always ended up getting decluttered. I felt like there weren't necessarily a ton of standout products that I felt like were worth the money that I was using over other products in my collection. I do really like the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners. I had like a light nude eyeliner that I would wear all the time. I think I still have it in my collection. There are products that I love that I think are really beautiful, but overall, I do feel like the products are very overhyped. I did read comments similar to this about two other brands in particular, Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath. Actually, this comment says, I like many indie eyeshadows more than Pat McGrath. I think Kaleido shimmers are better at a fraction of the price. I haven't tried Pat McGrath eyeshadows, but I do hear from people that, again, those tend to be overpriced, or I was going to say overhyped. I guess overhyped and overpriced as well. I did see comments like that about Natasha Denona. I have tried Natasha Denona. I have a good amount of her shadows in my collection. I love Natasha Denona eyeshadow so much. I would say it's probably one of my favorite formulas. But I can definitely agree with the fact that the brand and the eyeshadow formula, again, is very overhyped. It's a really good formula and I love it. And I think it looks really smooth on my eyes. I generally find the formula very easy to work with, but it's so expensive. And there are more affordable alternatives out there. I mean, this Flower Beauty palette, this one is the Jungle Lights palette. I would say these shimmers are just as good as Natasha Denona, and this is a drugstore palette. You do not have to spend a ton of money, like 65 or what are they, like $69 on a Natasha Denona mini palette to get high quality shadows. You can find them from drugstore brands. Okay, this one says, I think most brow products are just odd. I don't love the drawn on eyebrow look. I'm also not a fan of false lashes as they look incredibly fake in person. Actually, again, I saw a lot of comments similar to this, especially on Instagram. I got a ton of responses saying like natural brows are better, brow trends are out of hand. But overall, I have to disagree. I feel like brow products are a game changer for me. And honestly, if I had to like narrow my collection down and only keep like a very small amount of products, I would definitely include quite a few brow products in there. I feel like brow products just change everything for me. My brows, even though they're dark, they're very like sparse. And I feel like just a nice tinted brow gel makes such a difference for me. Even if I don't have any other makeup on, I usually will take the time to apply a brow gel because I feel like it just frames my face. I don't know, there's something about brows that I feel like do make a difference for me. False lashes, I don't know, it depends. I feel like we're not necessarily seeing the overly dramatic, super intense lashes as much as we used to. I feel like a makeup look on YouTube was not complete until someone threw on like really dramatic lashes and then it would just tie everything together. I don't know that I necessarily see that like out in public a ton. I feel like maybe I do a little bit, but I feel like a lot of people, because more natural and like softer makeup is kind of on trend right now, we're generally seeing like a lighter, softer, more natural lash. And I do feel like false lashes can look really natural. I wear the Ardell Dummy Wispies sometimes, or the Ardell Naked Lashes. I don't have any on today, but usually if I'm wearing a false lash, I'm wearing one of those. And whether I'm filming a YouTube video or I'm out in person, people ask me like, what mascara are you wearing? Because those lashes are so subtle, like the Naked Lashes even more than the Dummy Wispies, I don't know that you can always tell that someone's wearing false lashes when they're wearing something similar, or if they're doing like a half lash or a few individual lashes. I think when you hear false lash, the first thing that comes to mind is like a heavier, thicker lash, and automatically you're going to think that it does look fake. But I think if people are wearing lashes that are more subtle and more natural, you might not even realize they're wearing them. This comment says, short form content is awful for consumers. It's impossible to actually describe a product in detail in 60 seconds. There's only enough time to say, go buy this right now, and it still works on lots of people. I feel like I'm torn on this one. I definitely agree that 60 seconds is not enough for like a full review. And that's something I struggle with when I do create short form content. You know, as a viewer and a creator, I feel like I always have both sides in mind. I rarely upload like a full 60-second short form content video because the truth is, like, the shorter your short form content is, more likely the better it's going to do. So I usually stick with like 30 seconds and under. That is why I still prefer YouTube. I still prefer filming YouTube review videos because I can share the pros and cons. On the other hand, as an actual viewer and a consumer of beauty content, sometimes I do find myself going to TikTok or Instagram to watch and listen to reviews on certain products. I love long form content, especially when I'm getting ready in the morning. But if I'm in a hurry and I really want to try something and I'm not sure about it, I can watch like 3 TikTok reviews in a few minutes rather than sitting down and watching like one 20-minute YouTube review. Sometimes I do appreciate that people can get to the point a little bit faster because sometimes when you're watching YouTube videos, there's just so much information and you don't always feel like you need all of it and you just want like kind of a quick overview. So I feel like I agree and disagree on that one. I like watching short form content, but I think for a well-rounded, thorough review, short form content is not it. Lisa says, I'm so over declutter and haul videos on YouTube. This is an interesting one. I do film declutter videos and haul videos, so obviously I'm more inclined to disagree with this one. Honestly, as a viewer, I like watching haul videos and declutter videos. They're typically what I do click on. I think declutter videos can be really interesting and helpful if people are actually sharing reviews on the products. and not just like taking an entire drawer of makeup and dumping it in the trash. I don't usually watch declutter videos if someone is like posting the thumbnail of like all their makeup and they're saying like, I'm getting rid of 75% of my makeup, but I do like to watch declutter videos from people who kind of like sit down and take the time and compare formulas and swatches and things like that, because I do think it gives you a little bit more insight into their collection, which products are worth keeping, which ones they feel like they can part with. They can be helpful, but I also understand why people might find them to be wasteful. As for haul videos, I do like haul videos. I like to know what people are spending their money on. I don't like PR hauls. I rarely watch those. I used to watch those back in the day just to know about like new makeup products, but I feel like you can just go on Instagram and kind of check out new releases. But I like watching haul videos to see what people actually buy. And I don't know, I think it's just kind of fun. I feel like it's like sitting down, hanging out with a friend. Like sometimes if I purchase things, I'll tell like my sisters about it or my mom about it, or I used to back in the day, especially when we all lived together in the same house growing up. Like you would say, oh, I just got home from the mall, this is what I got. And that's the feeling I get from haul videos. Truthfully, declutter videos, haul videos, they get a lot of views on YouTube. Like they're probably my most viewed videos, which tells me that people generally enjoy watching them, but I could see why people wouldn't. Okay, hardly anything at Sephora is worth the price. Drugstore is just as good. I'm a big drugstore fan, but I have to disagree with this one. I think there are a lot of products at Sephora that are worth that high-end price tag. Makeup and skincare. I think there are so many good drugstore products, and you do not have to spend a ton of money to get really high-quality products. I always say that, and I mean it. I mean, there are categories in the drugstore where I'd rather purchase those products than spend my money on a high-end alternative. But I do think there are still some really good high-end products that are worth the money. There are some formulas that I feel like are worth splurging on. And honestly, because drugstore prices are a little more expensive these days, sometimes you just have to pay a little more to get that high-end product. I don't think everything at Sephora is worth the money, just like everything at the drugstore isn't great. But I do think there are products that are definitely worth it. Speaking of drugstore prices, this one says drugstore makeup is not drugstore priced anymore. Sadly, that does feel true. I was actually working on a video sharing like the best makeup products under $5 because I've done that for years and years. And as I was going through like my go-to affordable brands like e.l.f. and Essence and LA Girl and Profusion, they do have a few products under that $5 price point, but for the most part, most of their products are now over $5. Except Essence. I feel like a lot of Essence products are still under $5, which is really nice to see. But, you know, some brands don't even sell drugstore makeup for under $10 at this point. Drugstore makeup is getting more expensive. High-end makeup is getting more expensive. I feel like across the board prices are just getting really, really high. Here's an interesting one. A full face is often not appropriate at work unless it's minimal or no makeup. I actually saw something like this on YouTube as well. I'll put the comment on the screen. I don't know. I feel like, do I agree with that? I feel like I personally think you should be able to wear whatever makeup you want to the office, but at the same time, I don't work in a traditional office setting. I work from home. I have worked in quite a few traditional office settings over the years. I'm trying to think back on them and like what makeup was considered appropriate for that environment. Like some of the office settings I worked in did have a dress code when it came to clothes. I remember like one office I wasn't allowed to wear open-toed shoes, another office I wasn't allowed to wear jeans, somewhere more casual. I don't know. I think this one probably does come down to your work environment, like what you do, what it's like there. I'm not saying it's right, but I do feel like maybe sometimes certain makeup wouldn't be considered appropriate at that work environment. For me, I feel like it would be really nice if we could just wear whatever we wanted to wear, purple eyeshadow, red lipstick, and it sucks that that's probably not the case everywhere, but I do feel like that's probably true in some work environments. Obviously, men wear makeup too, but I do feel like in general, a lot of the restrictions that apply to makeup and hair and clothes in the workplace tend to obviously target women as a whole. So I would love for 2023 to be the year that people can, you know, express themselves the way they want with their makeup and their hair. But I do feel like when it comes to certain workplaces, not everyone is in agreement with that. Primer is not needed if you use the right skincare. I think I would agree with this one. I feel like sometimes a really good moisturizer or like SPF just works really great as a primer and you don't need to layer primer on top. I do like primer, but there are definitely days where I skip it. The Essence Lash Princess Mascara sucks. It 100% transfers on me every time. I definitely disagree with this one. For me personally, I love the Essence Lash Princess Mascaras, but I've heard a lot of people say something very similar. I feel like it's one of those formulas that you either love or you hate. They do have a waterproof version now, so if you love the formula, but it does transfer on you, the waterproof version could be more ideal. This is an interesting one from Audra. It says, when it comes to filler and cosmetic surgery, the my body, my choice justification is reductive. Folks aren't making these choices in a cultural vacuum. It's still worthwhile to critique the narrow beauty standards and ageism that would lead someone to make these choices. I do believe it is someone's personal choice what they decide to do with their body, and I don't feel like it really, well, it doesn't concern me, and I don't think it should concern other people if someone chooses to have cosmetic surgery or they want to have a procedure done. If that's what they decide to do and they've thought it through and it makes them happy, then that is fully their choice, and I definitely support someone's choice to do so. It's your body. If you want to change it, you should be able to do that. But I agree with the statement, and I think it's really interesting how they said it's still worthwhile to critique the narrow beauty standards and ageism that might lead someone, or honestly, in many cases, a lot of people to feel like they're in the place where they need a certain procedure or they need certain surgery. If their body type or their facial structure or their wrinkles don't fit the beauty standards these days. Whether this pertains to filler or Botox or buccal fat removal, which, we're seeing everywhere these days, it's a really interesting thought because like this person said, like Audra said, these thoughts don't necessarily come to you on their own. We live in a culture where certain procedures are normalized, where certain body types or facial structures are seen as less ideal than others. Again, I feel like everyone should be able to do what they want with their body, and they should be able to get the filler, get the Botox, get the procedures done. But I do think it is interesting to kind of take a step back and look at why people feel like they want to get these things done. Whether it's something they've felt like they've wanted to do for a long time, or if it's something that they feel like they need to do to kind of fit the beauty standard. Just as a personal example, I wouldn't say that, I was ever really unhappy with my lip shape or the fullness of them or, the thinness of them in the past growing up. It wasn't something that I really gave a lot of thought to until lip filler became a little bit more normalized. And I would say over the past few years, I've considered on occasion trying lip filler just for fun, but if that wasn't really something that was so normalized or on trend, is it something that I would have considered on my own? Probably not. So that's definitely a thought-provoking hot take, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. This comment says, brands should reshare more posts from the panning community instead of only doing unboxings or featuring fresh products. This is interesting. To be honest, I never really even thought about this. I feel like most of what we do see on Instagram especially are just like beautiful pictures of their products, which I think, kind of helps them market and sell those products a little bit more. I kind of wonder if a brand was to repost like a highlighter that's been mostly used up, if the picture would resonate as well. And I don't think it would. Honestly, I feel like when people are scrolling through Instagram and social media, they want to see like beautiful pictures, beautiful videos, and even if it is something that's a little bit more realistic, like someone with textured skin applying the products on Instagram, that could be appealing to people, but maybe not like a used up highlighter. I think it's an interesting thought, honestly, but you know what? I do think about that because sometimes when I go to film like a short form video and I have products that are very clearly used, I almost try to like clean them up a little bit before filming with them. And I didn't even really think about that until now. I wouldn't say I do that on YouTube really, but maybe there is just kind of like this standard that the product has to look like almost new to feature it in a video. Probably, I'm sure brands do feel that. So I think that's an interesting comment. I mean, I don't know. Would you guys like to see products that are panned? I mean, it probably is a good indication that the product is worth trying because someone used it a lot. This one says, I don't need cosmetics companies and brands to keep taking stances on social issues. You always alienate people. I don't really care about the company's opinion. I just need you to make products that get the job done. That is a hot take. I feel like especially now as we're heading into 2023. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. It does have some thumbs up, so I would say that some people agree, but I'm thinking that a lot of people probably do disagree with this one. I do feel like there was a time where you just didn't know how a brand felt about a social issue, and they wouldn't really take a stance either way, and that was just kind of the norm. But I feel like after 2020, things changed for a lot of people and a lot of brands in general. And, you know, for people in their personal lives, they might be willing to be a little bit more outspoken, but they also wanted to know what the companies they were supporting, or they wanted to know how the companies they were supporting with their money felt about certain things and where they stood. I feel like I saw a lot of brands taking stances or making more public statements about different events or different situations in 2022 more than ever. I would say that I actually stopped buying from quite a few brands over the past year or two when I found out something terrible about their CEO or something that the brand did, or, you know, just different things. And it is something that matters to me personally, especially because there are so many brands, there are so many options these days. So if you are actively supporting a brand with your money, a lot of the time you do want to know that you're supporting not necessarily a good brand, because honestly, every time you turn around, another brand has done something controversial, and it's kind of difficult to know all of the people behind the brand you're supporting. But at the same time, I do feel like as consumers, we can make better informed purchasing decisions when we see that a brand is actively standing for social issues that we personally believe in. I think this video is getting a little bit long, so let me just do a few rapid fire ones. Sherry says, I think Too Faced mascaras are horrible. I do think the Too Faced mascaras get so much attention, and I know people love Better Than Sex, and I feel like it's an okay formula. I do like the waterproof version. The regular one did flake on me. I like Damn Girl, but I've never really repurchased it because I feel like there are other alternatives I like better. This one says, I freaking love glitter. No one kill me. I'm 38 with 2 kids, and I find it a source of joy. I think that's awesome. Wear what you want to wear. Glitter is a lot of fun. And I've seen a couple of comments like that, like people saying, I'm 60 and I love colorful eyeshadow. I'm 50 and I love red lipstick. I think you should be able to wear whatever you want to wear at any age. And, you know, I haven't experienced a lot of pushback as to what I wear. I'm in my 30s, but I'm sure people do get weird looks and weird comments when they wear something outside of what's considered the norm. But makeup is fun. It washes off at the end of the day. You should be able to wear whatever you want. Stephanie says, I'm so over the dewy and cream trend. It just shows off texture. And what's the point of wearing a cream blush when I have to set it with a powder blush or another blush? I have to disagree with you because I am like all about the creams these days. And I was a little bit late to the game, but I just love cream products. Today I'm wearing a cream blush, a cream bronzer. I feel like they just apply so beautifully. And I don't know, do they enhance my texture where some powder products? I don't know, like sometimes I feel like powder products enhance texture more than creams. Sometimes I do feel like creams kind of enhance texture. It depends on the product, but I personally am all about the creams these days. But honestly, like ask me once summer rolls around and I'll probably be over them by then because I'll need mattifying products. Anyway, I think we'll end it there. I still have a lot, honestly, but I just feel like this video is a little bit longer. So I think we'll probably cut it off. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I had a lot of fun chatting with you, sharing your hot takes and sharing my thoughts on them. I would love to hear from you. So feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Or if you have another hot take that I didn't cover, let us know. But thanks for watching. I'll see you very soon with a new one. Bye.